The Mosul Springtime Fest was detained the 1 week for the at first period with 2003, the year of the US-led intrusion how overturned autocrat Saddam Hussein. Organizers told they restored the fest to symbolize the revival of Iraq's other town. Lot of it yet put in rubble following recent years' war to kill the jihadist extremists who named themselves Muslim country, and the essence they proclaimed as the Khalifa. The Springtime Fest looked to be a successful. Art students colored a fresco 50 165 FOOT length on the way, and floats provided all of the historical Al-Nudi Masjid, ruined by to the regional concrete plant that is supposedly now work at complete extent. Youths marched in Iraq flags. Youthful girls took portion dressed as brides, boys were dressed as soldiers. Next up were actual fighters, veterans of the war versus of elitists units of the Iraq troop to hard-looking Shiite voluntary of the militant famous mobilization units named as the Hasht. They are mostly underfunded by Iran, and did a lot of the difficult fight versus the jihadist extremists. The springtime could be a time of year of revival for Mosul and the entire of Iraq. Remnants of his conduct outstrike and run attacks and bombings, but by the bloodstream-soaked standards of the nation, safety is lot superior. A lot rides on the elections, due to be detained on May 12. Who ends up as main secretary? Many faces enormous challenges, not fair renovation, but keeping the nation along and take big stairs to halt Iraq downward behind insect civilian warfare. For how to occur, the elections requirement to make a by the government all groups in Iraq can confidence. In a nation how has seen so lot sect murder, how is a high procedure. Iraqis can voice for competing inclusive of candidates. Largest are mainly Shiite or Sunnite, although the Kurds include their own inclusive. The three largest potential candidates for main secretary are all Shiites. The present main secretary, Haydar al-Abadi, heads the Nasser listing, that is tilted to get the largest votes. But by the Iraq framework he will not be capable to shape a most by the government. That tool talks for a coalition how could go on for months. Largest human beings trust how Mr. Abadi's largest severe competing for main secretary is the vet militant Captain Hadi al-Amri. He heads the Fatah listing, that has be the policy household of the Shiite fighters of the Hasht and their supporters. Mr. Amri, and Fatah, trust how the Iraq human beings will show their appreciation for the sacrifices how the Hasht done in the struggle versus The tertiary leader is Nouri al-Maliki, the ex-main secretary. He was constrained out of office space in 2014 following swept viaduct Iraq, breathtaking Mosul and large swathes of mainly Sunnite area. Mr. Maliki's sect policies so aloof Sunni how, at first, lot welcomed the jihadists. The cruelty of his rapidly modified minds, but by later the jihadists had proclaimed their Khalifa. Mr. Maliki's history perhaps tool he cannot be main secretary. But he is strong and might wish to be the kingmaker. A Europe briefcase told Mr. Maliki was on maneuvers. Iraq as necessary. Several nice news story following so lot year of terrible affliction, and the poll, optimists tell, could be a late spot. The vivid script is how Haydar al-Abadi will win a other period and later job difficult to axle the divisions among Iraq's sectarianism. Receive the economics order would assist. But the is Iraq, complete of arms, grudges and resentments, so down there are ever risks. Sunni I include speak to our nerve on the Hasht fighters and their lead and applicant, Mr. Amri. He is really shut to his comrade Shiites in Iran, that for him is an completely nature association. It as well makes the Iranians, via their friends in the Hasht, the powerful overseas strength in Iraq. The Americans include military there, too much. Following US CEO Donald Trump Card's judgment to leave the Iran nuke transactions, down there is evident scale for anxiety. Iraq is brittle following the beating it has had with the Americans and their allies invaded in 2003. If the poll produces a outcome how largest Iraqis can take, and a by the government how largest of them do not terror, the nation has a opportunity to restore and to conciliate. But sorrowfully, how is no confidence.